How do we start videos normally?
We don't. We
That's
just
true.
turn it on.
That's true.
And
We
like
don't.
start doing something.
That's true. We should do like the, I don't know. We should do like the one where we're like looking down. We're like, oh, hey, didn't see you there. You know, like everybody else does.
Why am I wearing these headphones then?
Like you're listening to beats. You're making beats. You got your little
I was
thing over there.
practicing my DJ.
You got your little
gig.
thing over there. Your SoundCloud shit. You're ready to go. Here's what happened. You guys saw what happened. You already saw the last video. If you haven't seen the last video, go check it out. I'm gonna make her put a link somewhere for you. Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's gonna go ding.
But it was Cash Days. Now, Cash Days is very special to me, especially. Very special, especially to me. Cash Days is really what started the whole thing. Like, street racing around here blew up once we went to Cash Days. Because Cash Days is a different type of deal. You know what I mean? Like, so you have regular street racing, which is what we did forever, which is like you race whoever's out. So you go out on a Saturday night, and if there's another car there that you want to race, you get it on. That was cool until everybody got so crazy about win or lose. So then it was like, well, I don't want to race him. What if I spin and he beats me? And then everybody's going to say he's faster than me. So then you go out on Saturday night and nobody'd race. You know what I mean? Like they just sit around and they test and they make test passes all night. And it was just ridiculous. Then we were trying to figure out a way to spice things up, whatever. And so we started doing the out of town stuff. We started going to, well, what I called the out of town stuff back then. Now what you guys, think is out of town stuff is kind of different. But back then it was, because there wasn't really even an internet. Al Gore hadn't even invented the internet yet. It was like still brand new. Like we were still using free AOL discs and shit. But
Basically in 1890.
yeah, basically 1890.
Back in your day.
Yeah. Well, so we would just hear about car shows. They'd put out news flyers or whatever. Or if you went to a car show around here, they would have flyers for other car shows. And so they would have a calendar and say what car shows were going on. And then we, the guys that street raced around here, we would go to these car shows. And we would just wait around until we found somebody we could race after the car show. And so that was kind of our out-of-town thing. But then when we went to Vernon, Texas for a big car show down there, that's when we met all the Dallas guys, the DFWSS guys, Limpy and his crew, Ronnie Pace, Boosted. Well, I don't know if Boosted was there, but Ronnie Pace was definitely there. Next thing we heard was, we started getting in touch with the guys from Dallas, and that's kind of when Al Gore invented the internet, and then they had a forum. We had a forum. When Limpy, he said, hey, we're going to Houston for this race. It's called Winter Nationals. It was a street race. And I was like, hell yeah. So they went down there. They got it in industrial parks, whatever. Houston used to be huge, street racing world, Rankin Road, all that stuff. And so, but then after that, so Johnny Brown, I think, won Winter Cash Days, JB from DFW. So then after that, I don't think he's street raced since then, though. Like, I think that was the last time he ever went to a street. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I was going to say, I don't think that's accurate.
No, I'm just making fun of him because he hasn't been in one lately. But then after that, Limpy decided to hold his own thing, his own Winter Nationals, and he called it Cash Days. And so that was, a brief synopsis of how Cash Days got started. Well, we went down there for Cash Days, a few of us, and it was the coolest thing we'd ever done. Like it was by far the coolest. And it took all the don't racing and egos and all that stuff, took it right out of it, because now all of a sudden there's 10, 12, I think the first one was 12 or 13 cars. So there's 13 cars. Each person puts in $250, $300, and then there's only one winner. So it was like, didn't matter how big your ego was. If you lost, there was everybody else lost except for one guy. So it was like, all of a sudden it was like everybody wanted to do that because it was a shootout. So it's like, you really, there's no difference in going out first round or semifinals, to everybody. So that caught on quick, but they don't happen all the time. So, and another thing, I just want to throw this in there somewhere. Cash Days has always been hit or miss. Like even since the beginning, sometimes you get 16 of the baddest motherfuckers on earth. And sometimes you get 12 or 10. Sometimes you get 20. Sometimes 8 show up. Cash days has always been a hit or miss thing. This cash days especially was really special at first. It was really going to be, it was going to be something crazy because of the Studebaker and all the guys that were coming. We had 16 full cars. It was a full, it was going to be cash days, cometh. It was going to be the new start of something massive on the street. And shit happens. You know what I mean? Shit happens. Dan Lee was kind of like, fuck it. I don't care if 6 cars show up. We're going to do it anyway. Because you got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just about getting the races done,
It's about getting back in the street. I am in a wonderful place right now. I'm in a wonderful place right now, and I'm not wishing any negativity on anyone or anything. So nothing against the TV show, but the TV show has done a really good job of putting street racing into the limelight. But also, it's done a really good job of taking street racers out of the street. It's 2 different things. You know what I mean? It really is. It's 2 different things. There's no doubt about it. That race is so, man, and I feel like I'm just making excuses because I lost again, but it just goes to prove how difficult that race is and how much of it is luck. Because, like, the first spot that we went to, bare-ass asphalt, like, who would have thought? You know what I mean? Like, I've been to DFW Cash Days so many times. I've never seen them go to blacktop or asphalt, So it was like, and I love it. I love that they did it. I think it's amazing. I think they should do more of that. Even though it took me out of what I was testing for, that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? What's the point in winning cash days if you're on the road of the same surface you've been testing on the whole time? That makes you smart, don't get me wrong. But, like, does that mean you're the fastest street racer in the country that night? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, only on one type of road maybe, but, but that's also why, there's more of them that's why you don't have a whole lot of same winners. In the beginning, we did. In the beginning, it was pretty much Ronnie Pace. That was it. Like, you could, and what's weird is that there was some I started looking back. There's so many small tire cars in cash days. Like, it wasn't called big tire cash days back then. It was just cash days. There was no, you know what I mean? There was slow car cash days and there was cash days. And that's what we called it. Like, the first cash days, I'm pretty sure had mostly small tire cars. Matter of fact, I'm positive. The very first cash days, I think there was maybe 2 or 3 big tire cars, I mean, Varley's car, he won. Varley's car won with Dave driving, but, I mean, it was a 31-10-5. It wasn't like a massive big tire car or nothing. It was basically the same size as one of those cheater-ass 29.5 tires that everybody's running. So, and it was two of those 2 small tire cars in the finals, Boosted and Wayne. So, and then the next one, it was just, I think for the next 20 years, it was Ronnie Pace. Everybody's won all these cash days. You talk to these guys, and they're like, I've won 4 cash days. I've won 5. I've won 17 cash days. And it's like, what the how? There's never, it's not even that many. No, there's never been that many. Like, I'm just bitter because I haven't won one, and other people have, I guess. But
a lot of people haven't, though.
A lot of people haven't. And more people haven't than what you think. And there are people that have that you probably don't know. Mm-hmm. That's what's crazy. Like, it's just a strange race. It really is. It's just a strange race. So, I think, though, I'm hoping that, this one, they went through with it. We went down there because I didn't care. Like, we didn't care. We talked about it. We was like, what if there's only 5 cars? So what? If they said, what if there's only 6, 7, 8 cars, whatever? Like, if somebody had called me and said, hey, we're going to have a 6-car fucking big tire or run what you brung. That's the other thing. It's run what you brung now. Sorry. I'm not going to call it big tire anymore. It's run what you brung. So if somebody said, hey, we're going to have a run what you brung 6-car shootout, on the street in DFW, I'd still go.
I mean, they race in Dallas all the time, and it's a lot of the times it is 8-10 car shootouts. You know, not every. I think that's the other thing that the show has done. Like if you look at cash days before the show, the counts were also 12, 16, something like that. You know, but then
it was
like
to get
every
16.
year of the show, it was like the first time 16, the next time 24, the next
32.
time the biggest cash days ever,
Yeah.
32 cars. The next time we're doing 64. The next one 120. Like, you know, I think it's made this huge expectation that's really not. It's not reality.
And it's not attainable either.
Yeah.
You know, because like I'm telling you what, if this was an 8-car cash days in the Mecca, the capital of illegal street racing in Dallas, like if there would have been 16, we'd still be racing. Dude, we hit 3 or 4 spots before first round was over.
Before your
I drew the 4th chip. I drew the last pair of first round, and I was off the trailer on Virgin Blacktop, first pair down.
I would like to see anyone get any cash days done or whatever they want to call it on the street with 64 cars, because I guarantee you when there's 64 trailers, the cops are going to know where you are at all times.
It's going to take 2 days to get 64 trailers parked.
Yeah.
And there's those nights in DFW where you could get 30 done. You know, Limpy's got 32. Limpy and Dan, I think, have done 32. It's not easy, and I commend them for trying, but I think that was also the night that someone went to jail, which is, I think, the only time, if memory serves me correctly, I think that's the only person that's ever gone to jail and had their car impounded at cash days.
Was when there's too many cars.
Was when there was 32 cars.
Because the cops drive by going home and they're like, why does it look like the state fair is here? Like, you know,
is there a
there's
horse
people
show?
all over the road.
Yeah, back then it was open trailers, but now it's like everybody has a 34, 48, you know, semi-stacker or whatever. It looks like state fair. It's like a horse show going on. What the fuck?
Somebody unloading some cattle, you know, riding a horse around.
Is this the stockyards? The fuck is with all these trailers? So
it's just a whole different world than the show, you know, and that's the harsh reality of it, you know.
Yeah, and I was good at the show. You know
I mean, you're good at racing too.
Oh yeah, it's just I've never been good at cash days though. Like, to put it into perspective, I think the best I've ever done at cash days is the very first one. Like the very first one, I had a small tire, full interior street car, and I got fucked out of the final by Boosted because he had already got a buy. I got local by the homies. Call him and ask him. He'll tell you. I don't blame him for it, because if they'd have given me another buy, I'd have taken it too. But Boosted and Dave had already had a buy, and so I was supposed to get the buy into the final. It was us 3 left. And
was it a competition buy?
No, they drew the buy because there was an odd amount of cars. So
that's the worst.
But it was like, instead of me speaking up and being like, hey, I'm supposed to get the buy here, that was, you know, probably my best shot at winning a cash days right there. Didn't happen. Ever since then, it's just been weird after weird after weird. Like, I've got one thing perfect or whatever, or like I've got 5 different tune-ups for 5 different roads, and I am just, no matter what happens, we're ready. Unless they take us to the weirdest grooved concrete road you've ever seen. And it's like, that's where we go. Or it's like, okay, I've been testing on all the weirdest grooved concrete roads. The only chance that I got of getting beat in this deal is if they take us to a fucking shit-ass blacktop road. That's where we go. I'm just that guy. It's just never got it right. Like I always got one thing, but not the other. Kool-Aid, no sugar.
Oh, boy.
Ham, no burger.
Sounds like ASMR in here. Ew.
Sounds like my dad after eating a ham sandwich.
Ew. 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 You're disgusting. Ew, ew, ew. I'm out. I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore. This was a terrible idea.
Let's take a guy like Uncle Jeff, or Ronnie Pace Jr., whatever you want to call him.
Not junior, senior.
Senior, whatever. So you take a guy like him, and how many cash days has he been in? A million.
I've seen him in 2 this year. I mean, in my opinion, he's not a nobody.
So let's go down the list there. So there were 16 cars that were supposed to be there. Obviously, there was an event that happened the weekend before. 3 or 4 cars got crashed. 2 or 3 blew their motors up. It was a rough weekend. And then the Brent Self and those guys, they got offered all expenses paid to some other race or something, Bonatera or some no prep there that they were trying to get people to. And if I'm Brent Self and I'm going to get my ass kicked by big tire cars on the street, I might as well go to a no prep where I'm getting paid to go. I understand. What? I'm not talking shit about Brent Self. He knows I'm not talking shit. Right, Brent? I might be talking a little shit about Brent.
You talk shit, but he's fast,
Well, fuck yeah. If he would have showed up, yeah. I talk to him all the time. I told him I'd go to the next one with him. Just let me know. But so when they didn't show up, it got knocked down to like 8 cars. But it was still, even though people don't know who they are, if you don't know who those guys are, so like everybody says they're nobodies because they weren't the TV show guys, right? Mm-hmm. But if you don't know who those guys are, then you're a nobody. If you don't know that the yellow Mustang that was in the race was Boosted's original car with Nathaniel driving, like
who won? No, he didn't win. That race that I was in Kansas City, he was in the final with Nate. Kelly Nate.
No, he beat Kelly Nate in the second deal, right?
I think
Beaterbaum won that race.
Possibly. It was either Kelly Nate or Beaterbaum.
Right. No, he has a little black Vega that Justin McDougall used to help, and but he did win the baddest in the world on 28s or whatever down there just last year or whatever, 2 years ago. So, and he was driving the original Nanner Boosted's car.
People didn't even realize that's the same car. I think I saw one comment about it.
But so you see what I'm saying? So he's a nobody.
Yeah.
God, okay.
To some people he is.
Right. But to him, the people that are saying he's a nobody, to him, those people are nobodies because they don't have a cash days. They're not racing in cash days. They didn't even get invited. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not trying to say that there was a bunch of badasses in this deal, but don't belittle Chucky and what he won or what he did. And don't take away from his claim at cash days by saying nobody was there. Like saying I'm a nobody. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like I'm a nobody. I feel like I've been in a bunch of cash days. I've never won one, but I try every time. I mean, I really give it everything I got every time. So, but you also had Brian Chucky Davis, who, if he wouldn't have won, they'd have said he was a nobody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They'd have said he was second or third string Street Outlaws or whatever, like, because he's not in whatever. But now that he won, and it's different when Chucky wins, because if the Frig would have showed up, if the Studebaker and Brent Self and all those guys would have showed up, and Jeff Thomas from in Ohio or Indy or wherever he's from. Where's he from?
More in the woods.
Yeah, that guy. If he would have showed up and all those guys, like, I'd have loved to have won that one, because that would have been the fastest street race in history. Mm-hmm. Like, can you imagine how fast that would have been? Like, it would have been crazy. You got Brent Self doing 170 on the street, the Frig doing 100 and 200, whatever he does. I don't even know. 330.
That's how loud it is.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be top fuel.
It has to be 200 mile an hour about loud it is.
I think it's sweet.
If I would have won that, it'd be cool. But if I would have won this one, everybody would have just said, "Oh, he only won because nobody showed up," or he.
I mean, they said it about War in the Woods,
Yeah, they did say it about War in the Woods. Yeah, it doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
What's funny is they're going to say it no matter where we go because we're not where they want us to be.
That's the thing that kills me. Is people be like, "Why don't you go do burr burr burr?" But when we did burr burr burr, nobody gave us flying fuck. And when people say it, I'll be like, "We did that in 2019, actually," and they'll be like, "Really? I didn't watch it back then."
Yeah, when we were on the show, it was like, how come you don't go race in DFW? How come you don't go to cash days? How come you don't go to War in the Woods? How come you don't go do this? All you ever do is nothing but the show stuff. Then we leave the show, go do this stuff, and it's like, well, yeah, but none was there. Beaterbaum actually was putting big tires on to come to this race, and so was Callie Nate. And so, whenever that race got scheduled on top of it. And they were like, sorry, man, we really want to go try this. And I was like, dude, I get it. Like, I chased them cameras for fucking years. Go do your thing. There'll be another one, you know, when that's over. Like, because that's what I used to say whenever I was on the show. It was like, you know, I'm not going to make this one, but there'll be another one. Hopefully there'll be another one. You know what I mean? You know, maybe I wish I would have went to more of them, but whatever. You know, shit happens. Races get turned from 16 cars into 8 or 10 or whatever. It's happened many times. It's funny because if you look on the show, Cash Days has a reputation of being fucking massive. 30, 40, 50 cars, $100,000 to win. That's never been the case in real life. There's always been years where people said nobody, like when Godibo won. When Godibo won the Cash Days in Oklahoma City, nobody gave him credit for it. They probably still don't. You know what I mean? It's shitty, but not a lot of the guys' cars got done in time. There were a lot of people that were trying to go to the show and all this other stuff. And so, you know, when Godibo won, everybody was just like, yeah, well, who'd you beat? You know, it's shitty. Like, it really is.
I think it's extremely shitty.
It is extremely
Especially,
shitty.
like, I always want to be the bitch that when someone's like, because nobody was there, I want to be like, was your shit there?
I like
Because I missed it.
I like how you got close to the mic. Like,
Was your shit there? Was it though? Especially like especially someone that's never been in a Cash Days or street race in general, when they talk about, well, yeah, but you're a first round loss. Okay, what round did you make it to?
yeah.
You know, you do not understand how hard it is to get a first round win
Dude,
at Cash Days.
At Cash Days, first round is
It's hard not
crucial.
to just fuck yourself up when, like, we got to the first spot and I got your car completely ready because there's only 4 passes, right? So, and your car takes ice, so it takes a little bit longer, you know?
Well, and you forgot to pack the parachutes, so.
Yeah, that was my bad. But I packed them.
You did.
Thanks for bringing up old shit.
Well, the cops were watching.
No, when the cops got there, we were already loaded. I mean.
That's because you called them. Yeah, we had the left lane. So at Cash Days, back in the day, we used to flip for lane, but now they just tell you what lane.
Kind of works out easier.
I hate it.
I hate it too, but
I'd rather the chip say lane choice rather than lane.
I think it's just hard because, like, you're not always pitted by each other, and then you have to find another person and tell them. And what if?
I agree. As far as promoting or putting the race on, having lane on the chip is better, no doubt. It's easier because then they don't have to walk up there and look at it and pick which lane they want. Because that's the thing, when you get to the spot, if I had lane choice, I'm gonna go up there and look at it, and I'm not gonna pick my lane until this guy gets done racing in front of me. When it's just on your chip, it don't matter. Yeah. You just pull up there in the fucking road and you got whatever lane's on your chip. It just sucks whenever you have a good lane at one spot and a bad lane at another spot, or a bad lane at one spot. Then you go to another spot, it's a good lane, and then the guy rolls that down, and then you got to go to a shit one. It just kind of, you know, as a driver, it's frustrating. But
that's what Cash Days is.
Man, you ain't lying. That's what Cash Days is. And that's what the guys that have won it over the years, that's what they've had to deal with, you know. And
it's not the fastest car that wins all the time. It's who can get down whatever road, no matter how much is on it or what lane, you know. It takes all factors out of it, but also into it, you know. Yeah. You have to be good at literally everything. And, like, it's not just you and the car that has to be good. Your tune has to be good. Your crew has to be good. Like, we iced your whole car down, and then the cops came and Bree saw them. So then we put the car in the trailer, and then I was in there trying to get the ice out of the car because it's 100 degrees outside. So it'll condensate and then leak water in front of the tire, you know? Like, everything has to be perfect.
Just so you know, while she's doing all this, I'm riding around on a mini bike.
Yeah, I didn't know where Justin was. Justin got to the trailer, and the whole car was loaded up, and we were like, can you just get in the truck and drive us to the next spot, you know, so I can unload it and do it all again? Like,
yeah, I'm riding around on a mini bike the whole time. The whole time she's doing all that. Whenever they said the cops were here, and I was like, really? I was like, I haven't seen them. What the fuck? And I'll go ride back down there where the trailer is, you know?
You're like, let me go tell Jackie that she needs to load my car up.
Yeah, and I got down to the bottom of the hill, and I saw the cops. I was like, oh, shit, that's the cops. And I looked, and my car is in the trailer, and fucking doors shutting. And I was like, damn. I was like, well, hey, I got to put the mini bike in there. Doing Cash Days, it's just different. It's just not something that you can do alone. It's not something that you don't have time to, you know, dick around and shit. Like, you got to get it done. So, but all the guys, if you think about it, the only person from OKC that's won a DFW Cash Days is Wayne Varley and Jackie Knox, right? With Dave driving. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty sure that's it.
Does Limpy...
That's fucking crazy.
Does Limpy count the like other people putting like, you know how you'll go on YouTube and it'll be like New York cash days, or I don't know, they're everywhere. You know, does he count those, or does he even count like the Kansas City ones, or like does he count the show ones, or is it just?
I think now he is only counting the ones that he does in DFW, the OG cash days. You know, like I think those are the ones that he's keeping track of. But because dude, you can't keep track of all the cash days. You know what I mean? Like it's just so many. There's just.
I wonder if people actually ask him for permission to call the race that they put on that.
No,
you know?
I bet they don't. Not very many anyway.
Yeah.
But I know that originally it was only me, him, and Boosted. That was the only ones who had permission to do it.
Does he? Because he did that one on the show. You know, I know of one. Because the one that I went to or whatever with when Sean won.
He did the first one.
that?
He did a couple of them. No, hell no. I promise you, Limpy ain't giving no cash days on the show credit. Period. He didn't when I was on the show, and he no. You know Limpy. He's about the real street stuff. Cash days, 2022 breakdown. Well, our version, right? Our cash days experience. Because there'd be a very different experience for Brian Chucky Davis. His lasted a lot longer.
Yeah. It's much happier.
I don't know if you guys have seen it, but like his posts on Facebook, if you don't follow Brian Chucky Davis, go follow him because his posts on Facebook are epic right now.
What did he text you the other day about his wife?
No, he posted on Facebook. And he posted a picture of his wife and was like, hey, I know that you go to all these smart functions with super smart people or whatever, and just don't tell them that you sleep with a cash days winner because
Just sleep with.
he's like, you just break all their hearts, and he wants to be a positive influence. And
Yeah. He doesn't want to make him feel stupid or nothing.
Yeah, he's been going in. It's pretty great. I like it. But
I think it's cool. You know, it shows that he's genuinely happy to have won it.
And I'm genuinely happy for him because this was his first one. He had been wanting to do it forever. He just never could make it happen where he could come down, and because cash days is always such a weird last minute thing and nobody wants to tell anybody, and so it's like it's hard for somebody from Detroit to come all the way down here for a race that may not go down, So but he did it right. He didn't tell anybody. Like it was pretty cool, honestly. I'm jealous. I'm really jealous because he didn't tell anybody he was coming. Well, I mean, he told me, that was it, and I didn't tell anybody. So
yeah, we paid his lock-in.
We paid his lock-in and put anonymous on the list, and then he said he was coming. And dude, he got there, went testing on his own, didn't tell anybody he was in town. Like it was pretty cool.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He deserved it for sure.
He did his thing for sure.
He earned it.
He earned it, man. No doubt, he earned it.
And he went down both lanes. He was the only car that won in the left lane.
Ouch.
Like.
Yeah.
It's wild.
No, he did good. He did real good. But I think if we'd raced at that second spot on the concrete.
Don't discredit him.
I'm just saying.
I've already wrote that to my haters in the comments.
No, I know. That's
when they're
I'm
like, where's your excuses video? Like, we're not making excuses.
No, dude.
Y'all want to know why we shanked it, and we're going to tell you why we shanked it.
100%. I'm going to tell you.
We're going to tell you why Justin shanked it, because I did not shank it.
All you people that are hard on me on the internet. You don't hold a candle to this bitch. Not a candle.
We keep each other accountable.
I literally got out of the car and was standing off to the side eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it was
and
just...
the car's just baking, waiting on me to come back. Justin gets out of the car and doesn't cool it down, doesn't nothing. He's like, man, I'm hot as hell. Goes and gets himself a PBJ that Bree bought him at the Quick Trip.
Thanks, Bree. So, yeah, I get out of the car. I walk off. I'm eating a peanut butter and jelly. And I'm just so confused on why it didn't go down. Like, I'm just in my head going, what? Like, I haven't smoked the tires in 2 years.
More than that.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure I could do it anymore. But I assure you, I can. I can. Mm-hmm. But so I'm standing over there, I'm eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I'm just like contemplating life. Like, man, why do I keep doing this to myself? How can I get this wrong so many times? And I've won every other big race out there. You know, I've won them all. That's just the one I can't win. And she walks right up to me. And I was thinking she was going to say something positive or encouraging or, you know, stuff that like most people's, you know, chicks say after you get your ass kicked in a street race. Like, you know, oh, you had them or you did great or, you know, whatever. No.
I'm not going to lie to you.
She says, you ready to put a nitrous motor in there yet? And I was like, at that moment when she said that, I was like, yep, I really am. Like, it was rough. But
it's not the motor's fault. It's the turbo's fault.
No, it's not. It's my fault. So let's backtrack and go. Let's tell you what happened that led up to this horrible moment. We find out about the race, lock in, whatever, all these badass cars, supposed to be a badass race. Things happen, go sideways, blah, blah, blah. We already talked about that. We decide we're testing in Oklahoma City every night, and we're trying to hit all the grooved piece of shit concrete roads we can, which are still pretty, you know, concrete's concrete, you know what I mean? But we went to B&R, and we went down the right lane, and then we were like, okay, let's see if we can go down the left lane. And we even moved up out of the whatever. There wasn't any rubber there really, but like there were some remnants of puddles and stuff. So we were like, we're just going to move up because we could be first down the road on a virgin concrete grooved road. And when we went down there to watch the small tire cash days, that's what we saw. So we were like, we felt like the shittiest fucking concrete road we have in Oklahoma is the left lane at B&R. If we can get down that, we felt like we can get down anything. So that's what we did. And we got down it. And it was the first time I'd ever been down it. That's the first time I could ever went down the left lane under full throttle the whole way. I was stoked. So, but we had hit that spot a few times, and we had hit some of the other spots a few times. So we were like, you know, we're going to keep pressing our luck here, and something's going to happen, or we're going to get busted, or we're not going to get to make a test hit, and we're going to be wasting time. Whereas we could go to DFW tonight, we could possibly test on some stuff that they have down there, get acclimated to there's not really a big weather, you know, change, but it's hotter. So
yeah, a little bit.
So we went down early. We're just like looking for whatever and driving around and trying to find our own, you know, test spots or whatever. And Brian Chucky Davis is there, and he's driving around. He actually made a hit on the street in DFW before I did, like the night before I did. We were just trying to find grooved concrete because that's what we, you know, I don't know why. That's what we were just dead set on. That's probably what was going to be the worst road we were going to take us to.
Well, and that's like when we went there a couple months ago to watch that small tire race, it was grooved concrete, you know?
Well, the groove was the worst.
Yeah.
But like their other spots were amazing.
Right.
So it was like, worst case scenario, they're going to take us to something like B&R, and we may not be able to go down. So let's make sure we can go down. So,
because Dallas is literally full of concrete.
Yeah. But I think, honestly, this is my opinion. Okay. There's nothing that backs this up. Just literally fell out of my head. I think the reason that we went to those spots was because of how fast the cars are. You know, I think that Dan and the guys down there and Limpy, they had geared up to have the fastest street race that anyone's ever seen, to finalize Toby and Limpy and everybody's dream, you know? And so I think that they knew if they took us to something with a bunch of rubber on it and concrete, that we were going to fly like really, really fast.
It's just dangerous.
And that makes the shutdown matter, you know, because he even said in the driver's meeting, he was like, this one spot's only got 12 or 1,300 foot. If you can't get it done in that, let me know now. I would imagine that's the longer of his spots, you know what I mean, because of the cars we had. So it was a good move. It really was. It was a smart move, you know, to take these super fast cars to a virgin road that may not be so good, so you can't go so fast. You know what I mean? So that it is safe, because it is the first one back. This hasn't been done in 5 years. And it's a race that you don't want to tell everybody about. So it's not like you're going to get 20 or 30 cars at the first one. So, you know, I just think it's the way it went down. And it actually worked out for the better because, like I said, if we'd have won this one, it had just been, nobody would have given me the credit for it anyway. So what's the difference in winning it and nobody giving you credit for it, or just shanking it and whatever? So after we tested, or we get down there to test, we didn't really find any good spots to make it tested on. We went to one of their worser spots, or what we felt like was their worser spots, but the sprinklers came on. As soon as we got the car unloaded, it was a shit show. Like,
plus we've learned that like when we were there for that small tire race, it was the weekend, you know, and this time we were there and it was a weekday, and we learned that a lot of businesses are open during the weekdays, even through the night, and then sprinklers and traffic and the road construction and
yeah. So we had went to that small tire cash days, and one of the spots that we went to that we didn't feel like was very good, we felt like that's probably where we'd go because we got to race there all night that time when we went down. So we went there to make a test hit on the other side of the road.
Man.
And we were like, you know, hey, nobody can talk shit if we're on the other side of the road. We're not making a test hit on the starting line. If we come here, we're good. We're just going to go on the other side of the road and make a hit back this way. Dude, the last time we went there was like a Saturday night. And it was the whole industrial park was dead. Mm-hmm. Like people parked in the middle of the road all night. We showed up on a Thursday night or whatever, and it was like,
not happening.
No, dude, there was so much traffic. There were so many businesses that were open, and people were going to work and coming home. And then we get the car unloaded, and we're getting ready to go. You know, we're going to go up there. We're like, okay, we're clocking cars. So, you know, sure, if it was the last ditch thing and we had to make a hit, we would have done it anyway. We would have blocked traffic or whatever we had to do. That's, you know, we would have got it done. But that's not where we were at. We were more in the place where we want to make a couple hits. And when you do that, your best way to do it is for no one to see you. So we're clocking cars. And we figure we need 4 minutes between cars. So as a concrete truck goes by, if we have 4 minutes before the next car or truck goes by, we could have got it done. As long as we have 4 minutes between a couple cars, you know, 2 or 3 times, then we're like, okay, the next time a car goes by, we're going to pull out there. When that finally happened, I was loading the tune-up into the car, and the fucking sprinklers came on, man. And I was like, oh, my God. First, it started spraying us in the car, sprayed the whole car, got everything wet. We get all that done. We're like, all right, let's do it. So we're icing the car down. I'm getting ready to get my jacket, my pants on, everything. And right about the time we're about to go out in the street, I was like, man, those sprinklers are on. So it's just coating the whole road right at the finish line. I was like, God.
And it wasn't just like the grass sprinklers. It was the median had grass, and it was those sprinklers. So both lanes, like it. Jeez.
Yeah, it was rough. So then it was like, well, fuck, we're screwed. So we decided, fuck it, let's load up and go find another spot. So I text Dan. Well, actually, he texted me and said, hey, y'all having any luck? He's out checking spots, making sure they're clean, marking them off, doing his thing. Putting on one of these races is a lot of work. And so I said, actually, man, we're kind of screwed right now. Like the spot we had was tried to make a hit, it didn't work. We went to the other spot to make a hit, and there was a guy working on a semi in the middle of the road. So it was like, that just wasn't happening.
Yeah, he was.
He really was full on doing a cylinder head on a semi right in the middle of the road. So I was like, God damn, it's just not our day. So Dan said, okay, go to this over here, look over here, see if you can find something in the back of that place, and we'll meet you over there when I get done. And so we ended up going to the dirtiest, grooved piece of shit concrete road in DFW with no fucking rubber on it, just bare junk. And I was like, if we go down this, we're solid. This will be the worst road we'll see in DFW. And dude, it went right down. It was fast. So I was like, all right, well, fuck it, we're good then. So we went back to the house, and we just decided to get the maintenance and stuff done on the car, get everything ready, get all of our stuff together, and then that night we raced. So we caught up on a little sleep, and then we went out there to the driver's meeting, and that's when we realized that there was a full 8 cars, which to me, that's a shootout. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As long as there's 8, that's a real deal shootout. Of course, we draw Chucky. We got left lane, and we go to the first spot, and it's bare asphalt. And I mean, I was just like, what the fuck happened?
Well, people had raced there, and Dan said, we moved them up 30 feet. No, it was like 120 feet.
They moved it up a bunch.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So I was like, man.
I would have done the same, though.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. That's what you got to do. The left lane at that spot was worse than the right lane. Even though there wasn't rubber in either spot or either lane, the left lane had a really gnarly patch where the starting line was. And it had a dip right there. And I was like, man, if the guys in front of me don't do good burnouts, we're fucked here. Like, that right lane's going to come around quick, and the left lane isn't. This is going to be a coin flip race, and everybody's fucked. So we went and talked to Eric Bain, who was racing first pair, I think. Yeah, he was racing Derek, and Eric Bain was in the left lane. So I was like, man, if you scoot over and get away from that shit, we'll all have a better chance. He brought a little red Nova street race car, which was, pretty badass little combo, but it was a nitrous small block and it just couldn't do a really good burnout on a virgin street. So wasn't much there. And I was like, oh man, we're screwed.
Probably didn't have a line lock.
And then after that, I was like, so Andrew whatever, I'm not going to say his full name. That seems kind of weird, but.
The baby.
Yeah, his car's called The Baby. And
Is it the car or is it him?
What says The Baby on the car? Maybe him. Maybe he's the baby.
One of them.
So he's a super young street racer. And I mean.
A baby.
He's a baby. He's a big baby.
He's a 7-foot baby.
He's a big baby. But he's a baby. But man, I'm impressed with that kid. That he is a star in the street. That's what we need. That's what we need in this whole thing, is we need more of him. Because he's got a fast-ass car. He can fucking drive. And he's got a crew chief that knows how to put it down the road. Like, they did really good. They went all the way to the final. Like, they killed it. Their first race on big tires ever. Like,
isn't that a small tire car?
Yeah, it's a small tire car. They came over and borrowed wheels and wheelie bar, everything. Like, anything they needed. I told them, anything you need, come get it. And they borrowed it, and dude, they made it look easy. I was like, hell yeah, that's cool.
He didn't even look scared.
I don't think that kid gets scared.
Especially, a lot of people don't realize the different drivability in small tire versus big tire, and big tires move around a lot. He didn't even.
Dude.
It didn't look.
He did a killer job. He drove into the chutes. He fucking kept it. I mean, he did a really good job. I mean, it didn't idle worth a fuck, so it sounded like shit the whole time. And he slammed the fuck out of the door. Like, you could tell he don't give a fuck. You can tell when he gets in that car is a tool to him. That car is nothing but a tool. Everything on it. Like, there's nothing about that car that, he's not nice to it. He makes it happen. So I'm very happy just to have been able to see him street race, because one day he's going to be the man. You know what I mean? That's the guys coming up. Like, one day that's going to be the group. Guys like him. Because, I mean, dude, talking to that kid, he said, the first Armageddon, he met all the street outlaw guys or whatever, street racer guys, and he said he was in awe. He was a little kid.
That's weird.
Isn't it weird? It's really weird.
I mean, I think someone said he's 18.
Dude,
that means he was born in 2004? When Cash Day started? Jeez.
I don't think he's 18. Is he 18?
I heard somebody say he was 18.
Oh my God.
I don't remember who said it, but they were like, that kid's 18. And
no, he's not.
I think that's why they call him the baby.
Yeah.
I think that's why his color.
Dude, 18? I can't imagine
doing that at 18.
Fuck no. No. No, I had a 14-second car when I was 18. I thought it was fast as shit.
I was racing dragsters when I was 18, but not on the street.
Whoop-de-doo. There you go. Racing.
Whatever.
She was racing. She was going 8s when she was 18. I was going 14s.
14s? That's 160 mile an hour.
I didn't go 160 mile an hour until I was 30. But no, seriously, it was awesome to see him do his thing in the street. I'm glad I got to do that. I'm glad I got to see that, because one day that's going to mean something. You know what I mean? It already means something to me, but it's pretty cool. So
yeah.
If he is 18, though, holy shit. I can't imagine my kid doing that at 18.
No, I can't imagine doing that at 18.
That's crazy. His old man must have a lot of confidence in him. But he got it done. He can drive for sure. So big tire cars aren't easy on the street. If you've never driven one, it's, everybody acts like small tires are hard, and I understand the power management thing, but driving one and knowing how to drive one, big tire cars are hard. So I went and talked to the baby, and I was like, hey, move over where Eric Bain moved over, because he was in my lane too ahead of me. And so I was like, if you do that, and then we get the Monte Carlo after you to do that, by the time I race Chucky, this road will be 2 lanes instead of a coin flip. And didn't happen. After Derek raced Eric Bain, you heard a gunshot. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear it. I was on the starting line. I don't know why I didn't hear it, but Jackie said
you're on the starting line. I was pulling the parachute, from the night before.
Jackie said she heard a gunshot, and sure enough, there's a little bar right across the way from where we were at, and I guess somebody got while we were there. And then they were there and they heard heard and saw all of us next door. And so they came over and was like, what the fuck's going on? And they told us to leave. Then, of course, we all have to regroup, go to the next spot. Dan's pissed because we were at that spot for a long time. It took the first pair a long time to get up there, like longer than it should have.
I think someone had a problem, right?
Yeah, I think one of them had a problem with their car or whatever.
Yeah.
So then we went to the second spot, which was a concrete spot with rubber down. And I was like, okay, we can do this. Like, now we got something. And so I was feeling pretty good. So then, of course, we go to the first road, I'm turning the car down. We go to the second road, I'm turning the car back up because now there's, still 2 more pairs in front of me. The next pair goes down, and then the pair after them go down, and Uncle Jeff blowed his motor up. His car looked good for, not having a super big tire on it. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, he won.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
he didn't blow up till like the finish line too.
Yeah, and then it let the ghost out, and there was oil and cylinder or engine block parts. Like literally, homeboy was walking down the street with a big chunk of engine block.
He came over on this like scooter, like this like stand up scooter that was powered,
like a bird.
He was like, "I'm really sorry. I broke a rod. I blew the motor up. So y'all gonna have to go to the next spot." And I was like, "Why are you telling me sorry? You should blow your shit up."
Yeah, exactly. We should be telling you sorry. Well, whenever we got there, he said that he had oil pressure issues, but he said he thought it was too high. He oils the road down, and I was like, no. I was like, please, no. Just let us race. It's not my lane, But so then I get the word that we're going to diplomacy, which is like OG King Concrete spot type stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, we'll be all right there. But then it was already so late that by the time we left there, got to diplomacy, got in, got unloaded, blah, 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 got security set up and everything else, people be coming to work, and we'd have to postpone it to the next day. And that is stupid. For an 8-car race, if it goes into the second day, that just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? The pot was already only $5,000. So making people stay another day, it's just crazy. So he said, let's go two blocks over. I've got a spot 2 blocks over. And I was like, let's do it. And so we went over there, and it was asphalt. But I looked at it, and honestly, I thought I had a good chance there. I was like, the left lane is better. Like, believe it or not, I knew it. Like, as soon as we got there, there's no rubber down. No one's made a hit there, But I looked at it, and I rode it out on the scooter, and I said, the left lane's better. We'll be fine. And that's where I fucked up. Like, in hindsight, that's what got me. What got me was I was worried so much about the lanes because I've been to so many cash days that was a coin flip. Because you go to a spot where somebody's tested in the right and the left lane's shit, or the first 2 cars in the left lane can't do a burnout or whatever, or right lane, vice versa. And it comes down to a coin flip. And I've lost so many cash days on a coin flip. And it just drives me fucking insane. It even happened on the show. Even on the show. Every fucking cash days on the show, same thing. Coin flip race. Like, it just really just gets you, So, but when we got to that spot and I saw that my lane was actually a little better, I was like, oh, man, we're all right. And so I went over to the car, and instead of turning it back down from the concrete road from the last spot, so instead of like, okay, I should turn it down to even further than the first spot. But I didn't. I was so caught up in the lane thing that I was going up and down, up and down, up and down. But instead of going the same up and down, I ended up going less and then more, you know what I mean? And so it's stupid, and it's not an excuse. It's just, I'm just dumb. But I had so much confidence in the lanes, it gave me a false confidence in the tune-up. So, like, instead of thinking about my lane as its own road and tuning for that, I was thinking about my lane's better than his. My lane's good. That's what it meant to me. Was my lane's good, which meant we can go fast, which meant turn it up. Stupid.
For sure. If you would have told me you're doing that, I would have vetoed that deal. I didn't even see the road because I was loading and unloading the car so much, and getting it ready that, like, I ran up there and I was like, holy shit. This is a pile of shit.
Well, when when I was on the starting line at the other road and it was oiled down, and they were like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" You know, and they were like, "Well, you want to just call it or whatever?" And I was like, "It's not my fucking race. You have to talk to Dan." You know, and Brian Davis was like, "Well, I'll race on it if you tell me to." And I was like, "Brother, don't do that. Go look at it." You know, so we all went down there and looked at it, and it was fucked. But by the time we got back to the starting line, Derek Travis was there, and he's like, "Hey, I think they're talking about going to another spot." And I was like, "Hell yeah." And I looked over, and Dan's like, "Diplomacy, maybe," you know? And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm good with that." Well, then I hadn't raced there in 20 years, but I was like, "Hell yeah." But last time I was there, I went really fast. So I was like, "Yeah." And it's a famous road. So, but then Derek Travis is standing there, and Dan walks off, and then Dan comes back. I go to the truck and trailer and say, "Hey, load it up. Road's fucked." I come back up there to find out which road we're going to, and Derek Travis is standing there, and he goes, "Well, you ready for some real shitty roads?"
Oh, man.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "They're talking about going 2 miles over to Avenue, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "What's that mean?" He goes, "It's shitty." And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Real shitty." I was like, "How shitty?" He goes, 3 shitties. I was like, "I don't have anything that many shitties. Like, I know I don't. I don't have any tune-ups. 3 shitties? No way." He goes, "It's worse than the road in Vegas with no rubber on it." And I was like, "There's no fucking way. That's impossible. Like, I've seen that road. There's no way."
I've raced that road.
Yeah.
They are pretty equal now that I think about it.
I still think that road's better. But then when I got there, the one that we went to, that we raced on, I think it's better in Vegas.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I think.
But it's close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have done my thing. I should have went out there, looked at my lane only. You know what I mean? Looked at my lane as one road. And I should have tuned my car for my lane. And I know that. And I've always known that. And that's what I do. Why this one changed, I don't know. It's one of those things where the car has done so good for so long as far as going down. Like, you know, we've unloaded at all kinds of crazy ass spots in the last 2 or 3 years. And it's pew, 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 pew. I was just like, we'll be fine, you know? And we had been testing on blacktop for so long before this that I was like, you know, dude, we were flying on blacktop. But the car was different. We made changes to the car for concrete. So those changes, when you make a change to the converter, the stator, the whatever, charge pressure, stuff like that to go fast on concrete, you have to turn it way down for bare-ass asphalt. But it was a good road. It was just my fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's make that clear.
You could have got down it. You just you
now
shaped that part. You know? You can't run a 470 out there, but
that's what I had in it. I promise you. I promise I had a 470 in it. But that's, you know, that's part of it, man. That's the cash days curse with me. My brain just doesn't work right when I'm out there.
Whenever we get there, I'm like, as long as nobody calls us cash days, like, he's fine. And then we walk to the drivers meeting, and they're like, cash days. I'm like, fuck. No.
I was thinking they weren't going to call it cash days when it was only 8 cars. I figured, no. You know what I mean? And Limpy's calling it cash days, and that's what the fuck it is.
It's like you hear the word cash days, and you just, like, black out and put power in
I
it.
just glitch out. It was still so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know, don't get me wrong, I love going out and doing the big events. I love meeting all the fans. I love racing, going super fast on good surfaces and stuff. I love that stuff too. But there's just something different about going to DFW and racing in cash days. And man, I'd give anything to get that feeling back. Like Brian Chucky Davis, this was his first cash days. I remember my first cash days. You know what I mean? I remember that feeling. Like that was the thing that changed everything. It was like, oh my God, like this is something. You know, this is serious. And we are a organized group of people doing something completely crazy, insane, and no one knows. And all these places that we're racing tomorrow morning are going to be used again to go to work. Like, It just blew my mind. It was just the coolest thing ever. So, and I know Brian Davis was feeling that, you know. And he kept saying, he goes, dude, this shit's so organized. And I was like, yeah, it's crazy, ain't it? Like, they don't mess around. All in all, we had a great time. You know what I mean? Yeah, we sucked. But you know what? The day that we woke up to go to cash days, I'd never won one. And I went to bed, still never won one. To me, I don't know. It's hard to even say that I lost cash days because I've never won cash days. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just hard to feel that way. But
well, you're not so out of touch with reality that it's like, how could I lose? You know, like, we don't ever expect to win everything, you know. That's
especially not
that's
cash
crazy.
days.
Like, I mean, especially like this is we're getting back, you know. Like,
Yeah,
life's going back to this, you know. And we have work to do. Like,
definitely. And I've got, you know, I've got a lot of my own stuff in the car that I need to bring back to reality. You know, I think that it may be time to start pulling the nitro back too, because that's becoming harder to manage. I think, you know, because I'm changing the nitro percentage more regular now, and I don't usually do that. I used to just run it all the time. And now it's like, oh, we're going to go to the street so we can take it down to 16% or 20% or whatever instead of like 40 or 30 or whatever. So it's like too many variables, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I just need to bring the car back to reality, you know, not reality TV, to reality. I just need to bring it back. There's a lot of stuff on the car that I need to tone back. And it's not going to slow it down at the racetrack or anything like that. It's just because, you know, I ran it on methanol and NPK and it went 3s. So, you know, it's just gonna make things a little bit easier for me to get back to what I need to do and learn those tune-ups again and learn those steps of how to calm this thing down because you can't. If I could have sat there for 20 minutes and come up with a tune-up, I would have went down that road, no problem. But without having traction control, without using that shit, without, you know, because that's the other thing. You know, I don't use that shit. So without using that shit, without doing all that, I got to be able to put a tune-up in it that'll go down. Shocks, 4-link, tires, ECU, the whole deal. So that's something I got to work on. But the good thing is I get to work on it. You know, like, because if you just go win everything, you got nothing to work on, you know. And then now, of course, we have 2 small tire cars that we're just constantly working on those. And when they're done, you know, this is what we're going to do. You know what I mean? And yes, Jackie's probably going to win a cash days before me.
I hope so.
What?
That's the only thing I'll ever win before you, you know?
You went to jail for street racing before me?
Yeah, but whatever. You never did?
That was your first cash days, wasn't it?
Was it even a cash days?
I think it was.
There's a lot of cars in that, actually.
Yeah. I think Limpy was here. He just wasn't flagging.
I don't know.
I don't remember, but so anyway, congrats to Brian Chucky Davis. Congrats to the baby in the final.
And Brian Chucky Davis's crew.
Tootin', yeah, Brian Davis's crew was amazing, by the way, and Tootin' is the man. You know, I'll give it to him.
I just think it's cool.
King Tootin' is the man. The way, and I won't spoil it. I won't tell his secrets or nothing. But like the things that they mentioned to me about how they got that car down that road. Hey, respect, big dog. That's awesome. That was really cool. Just the fact that they told me, you know, after they beat my ass and then beat everybody else's ass, and they came over and were like, "Hey, just so you know, we did blah blah blah," and they just laid that. It's like blah. I was like, "Fuck." It was pretty cool. So, shout out.
It's cool.
Yeah, shout out to those guys. They made it look easy.
Plus a nitrous car won.
What? You were with a turbo car?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Smoking the tire.
Yeah, no shit. I do feel like, you know, nitrous cars are, you know.
I told that to somebody. I don't remember who. But, like, I was just standing there on the starting line after you lost, just standing there. And I was like, this is why I get so frustrated when everyone thinks I'm so stupid for building a nitrous car. You know, like, why would you ever do this? You should really twin turbo your car, blah, blah, blah. Twin turbo LS for the win. But when you are in that situation, it's so easy to turn off the nitrous. Like, you can leave on motor, you know?
Yeah.
And you can't do that in yours.
You can leave on less than motor. You can take timing out of the motor.
Yeah, you can't.
Can't do that in my shit.
You can't be like, no turbos on this one, you know?
No, you can't.
Like,
I don't think I'll have to look at it, but I don't think a twin turbo car has ever won DFW cash days or OKC cash days for that matter. I think when Boosted won, I think he was single, big single. So the only things that have won those DFW cash days is nitrous, and then there was a couple Roots blower cars that won. Sean didn't win a DFW cash day. He won Oklahoma City cash days with a roots blower. But Ronnie Pace won with roots blowers and then with nitrous. But everybody else was all nitrous. Sonoma, student driver, big bowler coupe, white boy. Like, dude, think about that. Holy crap, a twin turbo car has never won DFW cash days? Well, no fucking wonder I can't win.
It's not just you. It's every other
not just me. It's every twin turbo car.
It's funny because I've seen comments, because that video went up last week, and people would be like, geez, Chief, you just need to get rid of that silly Pontiac and get something. You need a Hemi and a Pro Charger because these cars are driving away from you. I want to be like, it smoked the tire from too much power.
Yeah, it's hilarious when people are like, his shit's just outdated.
Yeah.
It's just outdated. Yeah.
As it's smoking the tires.
As it's smoking the tires, which it's done every cash days for 20 years. Like, it was outdated when I built it then,
Should take those 98s off. Even when twin turbos were the cool thing, 5 years ago.
God damn.
It's just everyone now is all Pro Charger.
True.
You need Pro Charger, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but twin turbo was the cool thing 5 years ago when everybody had them. And did they win cash days? You have to think outside of
what people say on the internet. You have to think for yourself.
The fads are cool, yeah.
You have to think for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Pro Charger are cool, but no, thank you.
For what we're doing now, I do think that a quality nitrous combination has
I mean, look at the record.
Yep.
Look at who won cash days.
Yep. Yeah, but look who was in the final, a twin turbo big block.
Yeah.
He was in the final. And also,
I think that was the only other twin turbo car, right?
Yeah. Brian Chucky Davis, he didn't go down. Like, everybody just makes it seem like, and I ain't trying to take away from his win, but, he pedaled it just way after I pedaled it.
But he can pedal it and not go from 20 pounds to 0 pounds to 22 pounds,
You got me there.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
He can pedal it on motor if he wants. I don't even know if he had to pedal it. I just heard him pedal it. Honestly, watching the video.
He was probably whacking the throttle. Probably giving you a Ruga when he went through the finish line. I ask him.
Oh, goddamn.
One day, if he ever wants to talk into a microphone with us.
Yeah, we told him we were going to get him down here and hang out with him for a little bit, but I'll let you guys ask him some questions or whatever. But, and I got to give it up to Petey Smallblock because he came all the way down from New York to watch cash days, and he's a good friend. Like, he's a really good friend of Brian, too. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he's hilarious.
When Brian drew me, Petey said, "Sorry, Chief."
Like, he
sorry,
just knew
Chief.
that his
Sorry,
best friend
Chief.
was going to beat your ass,
Yeah. And then they were walking off, and he goes, "I don't even know what you're worried about." He's like, "This is going to be the time when you put Big Chief on the trailer."
And he did.
And he fucking did, dude.
I don't know. They're just so nice,
And they have such a good time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard not to, it's hard for that not to be contagious. It's hard not to be happy for them. Then when I watched him go down the left, I was like, yeah, damn. Yeah. Like, that bitch was fast in the left. It was like the pass he made in the right gave Tootin just what he needed. You know what I mean? And then he went in the left, and Tootin was like, okay, we can work with that. And then, and the baby's car was fast. If he could have got that pedal out of it early, because he kept having to pedal it right off the brake, and he did a really quick pedal, and it would go. But, man, if he could have got that pedal out of it, it would have been a really good close race. Big thanks to Dan Lee for having us.
Yes.
Thanks to Michael Poland. Thanks to Dan Lee's chick, Audrey, right? You know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Twan and Bree and Logan Yelton for helping. Thanks to everybody for showing up that did show up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's already a date for the next one. And there's already cars signed up. And it's just going to get better. Got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Keep it street. What else?
Let us know if you like these types of deals.
Oh, yeah. And,
Let us know
we're not
what you
going to change the whole fucking YouTube thing up. Or
No.
don't act like, don't get all pissed off. Be like, I don't want to watch this. Because I get it. But,
we're still going to work on the cars. And
yeah, we still got the shop stuff and the testing and working on cars and all. It's just, this was something that helped us to be able to get the content out
it's
quicker.
just hot outside.
And the shop, there's literally work going on in the shop. So it's like, do we tell Twan, hey, stop welding that motor plate in and so we can do this? Like, no. So when we have to do this, we're going to come in here and do this. We have all this equipment in here. We might as well. Anything else? But if you like it, let us know because we could do more of it a lot easier. And if you want to hear Jackie just say nasty shit on the microphone, just type it in. I'll make her say it.
What? Oh, like the...
Call 1-800. Go sexy. 1-800-RUGA.
Ruga.
We got nothing but nitrous, ladies, just waiting for you.
Nitrous ladies. Me and Allison from Street Race Channel.
All right, well, bye. You're going to do like the sexy 1-900 voice the whole time?
Mm-hmm. People are going to think that this is one of those commercials that plays in the middle of the night, you know?
Yeah. Call 1-800-FUN-SEXY. Speak to one of our girls right away. They're just dying to talk to you.